Butcombe Brewery, Adam Henson's Rare Breed Pale Ale.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. Today, not one from Germany. Fuck me, what is going on? This is the Butcombe Brewing Company Adam Henson's Rare Breed Pale Ale. Now, I picked this up in Asda. Was there the other night. I picked my daughter up from, she picked her up from somewhere. And was going through Rochester, and there's an Asda's there, so I thought I'd stop off, do a bit of shopping, and see what beers I've got. And I've got a few beers in there, and this was one of them. This is the Butcombe Brewery. This is their pale ale, basically. And there's a brew sheet on it. Few alarm bells on the brew sheet. I'll get onto that in a minute. But this is a beer that has come from a brewery that are based in Bristol. They've been going since 1978. And it's quite a funny story because the bloke who basically started it up was, I think he worked for Courage, believe it or not. Courage Brewery, you remember him? Where I lived in Tottenham, there was a Courage distribution warehouse. Courage Bass, I think it was. Or was it Charrington's Bass? Same company, all connected. Bass, Charrington's, they were the same company. Courage were the same as well. And basically he got made redundant. He had a load of cash from his redundancy money, and he started this one up. He got a load of equipment from the believe it or not, I don't know whether it's still there or not, but in Burton-on-Trent there is a brewery surplus supplier. There was in 1978, and he brought up his Bedford lorry and loaded the gear up, took it back to the farm where he lived on, and basically started the Butcombe Brewing Company. And they're still going strong today. 44 years, is it? 45 years? I don't know. What's the maths? The maths. It's 44 years, I think. Could be wrong. Can't be asked. Maths not my strong point. But they're still going strong. I've tried a couple of their beers, actually, Butcombe Brewery. And not too bad, actually, from what I remember. They've got quite a wide range of beers. They've got their traditional stuff. But they do a lot of, like, a craft beer range. And I don't know whether you've seen the latest news on what's happening in the craft beer industry, but I was really shocked to read that Cloudwater have been really struggling for the past year, possibly even 2 years. They reckon they're on survival mode. And I don't want to go off topic here because I'm trying to review this Butcombe beer, but I want to talk a little bit about the craft beer industry. As you know, I don't review it because, as I say, I think there's too many people out there. Well, not too many people. There's a lot of people out there reviewing that kind of beer. I'm just reviewing the traditional English stuff, the German stuff, and the Belgian stuff, and any other things that come my way. Occasional rant, but that's what I do. Craft beer, rarely do I review it. The whole business model of craft beer, I always questioned it. Because, especially when I started the channel. When I first started the channel, I thought everyone was drinking craft beer. And there was a lot of people drinking craft beer, believe me. And I didn't jump on the bandwagon, but I thought I'm going to try, see what it's like. And as much as I tried to like it, there was very few that I really did enjoy. Now, I didn't mind the occasional New England IPA. Out of all the styles that they have, and fuck me, there are some concoctions out there. The New England IPA was probably my favourite, and occasionally I will have a New England IPA just to have something different. But I think the way craft brewers, and especially Cloudwater, the price of some of their beers, yes, I know they've got overheads, yes, I know they don't get the big breaks, but fucking hell, £7 or £8 for a full 40ml can, that is not a sustainable business model. I don't care who you are, you're not going to be able to sustain them sort of prices. I don't care where you are in England especially, you are not going to be able to sustain them prices, especially during times like we're going through at the moment. Yeah, there's a supposed energy crisis. I'm not going to go into politics here, but there's a supposed energy crisis. Prices have hit the roof, so the overheads for these small brewers are massive. Couple that with the expenses on fuel. Obviously their stuff has to be transported, their raw materials have to be transported, so costs have gone up, overheads have gone up, profit margins have slimmed. Now, I've always said that brewing beer that tastes like a fruit cocktail with all kinds of other shit thrown in as well really isn't my idea of good beer. Let's put it that way, good beer. Don't get me wrong, there are some quite nice craft beers and some decent craft brewers out there. Some of them, sadly, have gone under. Some of them, like Cloudwater, are struggling, and I think it's looking grim for a hell of a lot of other craft brewers. And that's sad, because the craft beer industry, whether you like it or not, it did make the other brewers sit up and take notice. They had to up their game a little bit, which can't be a bad thing, but I take absolutely no pleasure in watching these craft brewers go under. I've always said this, you know, even though I do the occasional rant about American hops and about IPAs and stuff like that, the people that brew it, I take no pleasure in them, in their business, which is basically the owners. It's their dream. It's watching their dream go up in flames, and it means a lot of redundancies for working people. And I think if you take pleasure in that, then maybe you should go back and have a look at yourself and think, what the fuck are you doing? Because I think if you take pleasure in someone losing their job, but don't get me wrong, if someone deserves to lose their job, then fair enough, yeah. And if they do it for nefarious reasons, if the reasons are nefarious that they've done, for example, I don't know, coppers. I mean, that copper, that fucking rapist copper, he lost his job. I took fucking great pleasure in looking at him lose his job because he fucking deserved it. But people who are just victims of what's going on at the moment, yeah, I take no pleasure in that. That's not nice, and they're going to struggle. And yeah, another statistic. But there you go. My little thing about craft beer. I don't generally review it on the channel. You could probably say, well, look, you haven't done your bit for craft beer. There's plenty of other people doing their bit for craft beer. Me not doing it is not going to make the fucking slightest bit of difference. Trust me. With my, what have I got now? I think is it 1,300 or 1,000? I don't know. It's 1,300 subscribers. I mean, fucking hell, that's a lot more than I thought I was going to get. So I really do appreciate each and every one of you. If you have subscribed, brilliant. If you haven't, no pressure. If you're just visiting, that's fucking perfectly fine with me. You do what you got to do. Anyway, that's gotten that out of the way. Let's get on to this stuff. Now, this is a pale ale, and it's from, as I say, the Butcombe Brewery. They're based in Bristol. If you've ever been to Bristol, not a bad city to visit. It's an experience, put it that way. I was quite impressed with it in some parts. Other parts, rough as a bear's arsehole. But there you go. I mean, I'm from London, so I really can't complain, can I? But this lot are quite popular down there. I remember the last Butcombe beer that I reviewed, a lot of people said when they were students they used to drink Butcombe beer. I don't know whether it's because it was cheap or whether because they had it in the Students' Union or what, but that was one of the beerers' choices. And for the life of me, I can't remember. Was it the Butcombe Original? I think it was. That was a kind of bitter. I don't know whether they call it a bitter or not now, but that was it's a flagship beer. It's one of the first beers that they brewed. But this was first brewed in 2011. And I want to get onto the ingredients, so I'm going to sort of curtail it here because the ingredients are what I really want to talk about in this beer. So let's stop that there. Let's go on to the next section. Right, 500ml bottle, 4.2%, nicely sessionable if it's a good beer. Now, thankfully, Butcombe Brewery or Butcombe Brewing Company, I feel very uncomfortable saying the word Butcombe for obvious reasons, but there you go. This brewery do a good thing in that they list all the ingredients in their beer, which I like, and I wish more brewers would do it. But on the back of the label, they've got it as well, which is good. So you would have found this out even if you hadn't gone on the website, which I did. It's not every day you meet a farmer as passionate about sustainability as Adam Henson. His Cotswold-grown Marisota barley helps produce a seriously characterful pale ale, all within a stone's throw of Bristol. Brewed with Mendip spring water and fruity Cascade. That's the alarm bell. I'm not a fan of Cascade. I tried it in that King Goblin, and I think it was in the Hobgoblin as well. No, it wasn't. I'm lying to you. It wasn't in the Hobgoblin. It was in the King Goblin. And to be honest, that was one of the downsides to it. I don't like beer with Cascade because I'll get onto the characteristics of the hops in a bit. Right, Cascade and Amarillo hops. Again, American hops. It's refreshing, citrusy, smooth, with an amber hue. A rare breed. We wouldn't call it anything less. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Right, so the hops. There's 3 different hops in here. Cascade, as you know, not a fan of Cascade. It's quite citrusy and spicy. That's what you get from Cascade hops. The citrus is grapefruit, and I'm not a fan of grapefruit. I don't like it. Some people like. I mean, I've said this before on the channel, and I've seen a lot of viewers. They've commented, "I love grapefruit." I just don't get it. It's horrible stuff. And to be honest, I don't think it's got any place in beer. And if it has, very, very fucking tiny amounts, not a great deal. You see, as again, coming back to craft beer, you see some of these craft brewers, and yeah, this was their sort of, I wouldn't say their get out clause, but it was the panacea for supposedly good beer, was just throw American hops in there, maybe a few adjuncts in there, and yeah, pump it out as an IPA, and Robert's your father's brother, charge £8 for it. And yeah, as I say, that is not sustainable. That will not be the road to riches. But I digress. The other hops. Amarillo hop. As the name would suggest, Amarillo. Where's Amarillo? It's in the United States. It's in Texas. I was reading the other day, actually. No, I wasn't. I was reading today, actually. Fucking memory. Speaking of memory, this story's connected. The fella that sung that, Is This the Way to Amarillo? I can't remember his name. Tony something. But he's just been diagnosed with dementia. And he's vowed to carry on as long as he can. And dementia, whether you know it or not, is fucking horrible. My mum had dementia. She died in the end. And that was not fucking pleasant. I stopped going to see her in the end because she didn't recognise me. She could hardly speak. I think she must have had a couple of strokes and she couldn't speak. And yeah, I thought, I don't want to remember my mum like this, and I stopped going. And my sister, fucking fair play to her, she nursed her through to the end. In the end, she had to go in a home, and that's when she went to the home, that's when I stopped seeing her. And yeah, horrible. Anybody who's had a relative or a friend or even a family member with dementia will know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's horrible. It really is. And Ian Botham, I watched his dad had dementia. I remember I watched an interview with Ian Botham, and he did the same. He stopped, and this was after my mum had died. I watched this interview, and he stopped going as well. And he did it for the exactly same reason as I did. And he said something very pertinent. He says, "Please don't judge." He says, "Unless you've been in that situation, it's horrible." And yeah, I mean, it was a breath of fresh air because I did feel guilty about not going. And after seeing Ian Botham, he's a sportsman I really do respect, fantastic cricketer, probably one of the best this country's ever produced. And he really did hammer it home to me that I hadn't done the wrong thing. So yeah, Ian Botham, if you're watching, he probably isn't, but thank you very much for that. And anybody else out there who's suffering with, not suffering, but has a relative who's suffering with dementia, I understand what you're going through, and it is not nice at all, and I hope it is as painless as possible. And they're not false words, I genuinely do mean that. I hate seeing anybody going through it or having a relative going through it. And I know a couple of people at the moment who have gone through it, and a mate of mine, his mum has just died from it. So yeah, I don't want to bring the tone of this down, but it's a very sombre subject, and I just thought I'd bring that up. But yeah, how did we get onto that? Amarillo hops, yeah, fucking hell. Off on a tangent, but there you go. Yeah, so there's Amarillo hops in it. Let's lighten the mood a little bit, shall we? So Amarillo hops, yeah, they're floral, and they have obviously the citrus as well. It's what American hops are renowned for. And we have our old friend Fuggles hops in here, which is where you get the earthiness and the musty flavours that are so renowned in English beers. So whenever I see Fuggles in English beer, it does give me a little bit of a lift. So there you go. Marisota as well. they've put Maris Otter in this, and it's rare. And one doesn't spring to mind. This may be the first, but I haven't had a bad beer with Maris Otter in it. Maris Otter is quite an expensive malt, and it's very select. You tend to put it in your best beers, and I'm hoping this is what they've done with this stuff. So without further ado, let's stop gassing and let's get it open and see what this beer really is like. Okie fucking dokie. Let's get this open. There's the cap. Oh, and there's aromas coming out there already. And they are mighty citrusy. Try not to knock the fucking camera over, dickhead. There is the cap, is that 7 Bridge that they've got on there. May well be, being in Bristol. Yeah, I went to Bristol. My missus was at a conference down there. And yeah, it's quite an interesting place. A lot of history there. There is the glass. It is pale, as it suggests. It's an amber colour on the nose. Actually, not too bad. Definitely more Fuggles than there is the Fuggles earthiness and mustiness than there is the Amarillo and Cascade. Oh, it's very nice indeed. There's a real strong biscuity, bordering on caramel malt on that as well. And it really is big on the Fuggles, which is nice, because for me a pale ale is an English beer, and I despair slightly when I see American hops going into pale ale, because if you're doing a traditional English pale ale, Timothy Taylor Bolt Maker, I mean, that's for me is the archetypal English pale ale. Not bowl maker, fucking twat, landlord. That for me is the archetypal pale ale, but there's others as well out there. There's stuff from the Butcombe Brewery, Fuller's of course do pale ale, and yeah, they're all good. It actually doesn't smell too bad. Very, very biscuity, with nice earthy and musty notes. There is some citrus on there, but it's slight. There's more floral than there is citrus. And it's like elderflower, something like that. But promising aroma. Let's see what the flavour's like. Good elf. Oh, that isn't bad. Oh, that is not bad at all. Oh, lovely. Lovely big biscuit malt finish as well. Oh, could this be a first? A beer with Cascade that I actually like. Let's get some more in the bottle. In the glass, twat. Yeah, nice. There's a slight haze to that. And yeah, they're lovely aromas. There isn't really a citrusy feel to this. I thought it was going to be an attempt at like an American pale ale, but it really isn't. This is typically English, and it's good as well. Oh, nice big malt on that. Nice big biscuit malt. Really good. And a huge finish on it as well. The citrus notes and the floral notes are starting to come through now. And yeah, there is a little hint of grapefruit bitterness on there. It doesn't overpower it though. And the spiciness from them two American hops is bigger on here. There is like, I don't know, how would I put it, like maybe elderflower, that type of flavour, but the malt is huge in this, and that's Maris Otter for you. Maris Otter is a fantastic malt, and I think again this is the trends that I'm seeing. If you've got Maris Otter malt in your beer, then it's rare that it disappoints. I'm really liking this. Quite moorish as well. And at 4.2, I think this could be a fantastic session pale ale. Now, I'm going to say now, I don't think it comes up to the standard of the Timothy Taylor Landlord, but this is a worthy attempt at an English pale ale, and they've done it right, even though they've used American hops. I think the Fuggles character in this is quite big, gives it a nice earthiness and a mustiness to it. That's definitely on there. That mixes perfectly well with the Marisotto malt that's in here and the pale malt that's in there too. That's what gives it its nice biscuity finish, and all in all, that is quite good. Body's reasonable as well. Mouth feels good. This temperature is perfect. This is about cellar temperature, and it's perfect for getting all the flavours out of. I'm loving this. This is a good beer, good pale ale in fact, and I do recall that the Butcombe Original I quite liked as well, and I should try more of their beers. Now I have tried their Pilsner. They've done a Bohemian Pilsner. I wasn't impressed with that, but again, the quest for a decent lager for me continues. But yeah, I don't think English brewers can brew decent lager. That's my opinion. Could be because of the water, could be because of maybe the way the hops are grown over here in a maritime environment. That's not really to say that you can't do it. Flensburg do it because they grow their malt in a maritime environment, which they claim to be the best environment to grow malt, and of course that's what we do over here, especially in Norfolk and Suffolk. I mean, they're on the coast. They border the coast anyway, border the coast of the North Sea. So, you know, that is a maritime environment as well. Kent has a maritime environment, would you believe, especially where they're grown. You know, if you go towards East Kent, even where I am, it's classed as a maritime environment. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the whole of the United Kingdom is classed as a maritime environment. But yeah, I'm digressing. Let's have another mouthful. Yeah, it's good. There is grapefruit notes on there. I'm not going to lie to you. I can get that. I'm getting that in the aroma now too. But they're not big. They certainly don't overpower any of the other good flavours, in my opinion. And I have to say, that is a very nice, drinkable pale ale from Butcombe. I'm impressed. So, what is the verdict on Butcombe Adam Henson's Rare Breed Pale Ale? Well, I had misgivings. I saw that Cascade and I thought, oh Christ, this could be a bad one. But my fears were unfounded. That's really nice. And it's another good one from the traditional range that the Butcombe Brewing Company do. Now, they do their craft range, which is where the Bohemian Pilsner comes from. And they do some others as well. They do an IPA. Is it Gorham IPA or something like that? Not tried them. To be honest, you know, as soon as I see that, you know, American style beer, not that I question why. There obviously are people buying it, otherwise they wouldn't brew it. But I think this is what these kind of brewers do best, and this is what sells. Now, I'm not going to argue about, you know, taste being subjective and all that, but people drink this kind of beer. More people drink this kind of beer, in my opinion, regularly. And I think maybe some of these craft brewers may need to diversify a little bit and, you know, try and brew some traditional stuff. And that'd be Percy. Did you hear there was good beer? What are you up to? Come here, me old mucker. My fat, furry friend. This little fucker's putting on weight. Ain't you, mate? You little fat git. What do you think of this stuff? Get out of it. Yeah, he likes it. Don't you, mate? Yeah, I like that. That's going to be an 8 out of 10 for me, and that is a solid 8 out of 10. And you get this in Asda, and it is relatively cheap. I think it was about $2.20 or $2.30 a bottle. So the next time I'm in Asda, I could well pick some of this up, because that's another good one from Butcombe. And I don't think, from memory, I don't think there's any others that you can get in the supermarket apart from the Butcombe Original, which Morrison's do, And also, because I saw that today, actually, I did a quick shop in Morrison's today, and I saw that Butcombe Original. And Asda's, I think they're the only two. I could be wrong on that, but if you see it on your travels, or if you're from around Bristol, they've got a few pubs as well. I imagine this would be great on cask. And if they've got it on cask, then fill your fucking Dr. Martens. But that for me is an 8 out of 10. That is recommended. And remember, Percy, what's the score? Beer is working class champagne, isn't it, mate?